Hello, I'm here at the Pony Power Stables to do a series of interviews with Jennifer S. Walker, author of First Pony Advice, creator of the children's movie and book series The Pony Fairy, and qualified equestrian coach who has been involved with horses for over 30 years. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning, Yana. Welcome to the Pony Power Stables.
Thank you for having me. And where do you think people encounter the most problems when it comes to buying a horse or pony?
So, where do people come unstuck buying a horse or pony? Where do I start there? I think one of the biggest problems with that is listening to the lady down the road. You know, she's owned a pony as a kid, maybe even owned a couple of horses, and maybe even gone to shows, but it doesn't make her a professional going and looking at horses. So I think you've got to find people that really know what they're talking about, and everybody's an expert. So as a novice getting into the industry, how do you really know who's talking the talk and who's walking the walk and who's just talking the talk? So I think that's a real problem. And I think people that have owned a lot of horses, you know, generally are going to have more experiences because they've owned so many. So someone that's owned, you know, maybe a couple of dressage horses, they might have competed even to a reasonable level, doesn't necessarily make them experts in going and looking at horses for other people, especially beginners, to buy. Because I think if you've owned a lot of horses, you've seen a lot of things, you've just got a little bit more eye. So I would say if you're looking to try and find someone experienced in your area, start asking, you know, how many horses have you owned? How many horses have you trained? Have you broken many in? You know, they're going to be just little good sort of indicators of, are they going to know their stuff? But then again, I mean, you can have someone that have 50 horses out the back paddock that's still, you know, a novice person. So yeah, I think, have they competed to a high level? They're the sort of questions. Are they dealing with, what sort of horses do they deal with? You know, thoroughbreds and warmbloods, they're a lot trickier horses. So generally people that are getting success with those style of horses are going to be a little bit more experienced. But, you know, generally I would say someone who's teaching children is going to be a good bet too, because, you know, you start to know what a good beginner's pony looks like. You know, for me personally, yeah, that's what advice I would give. Try and find someone who really knows their stuff, ask questions, and then you'll start to see, do they know their stuff? And that is probably the biggest problem, is because, you know, you might have a family friend that's owned a horse once, and I mean, First Pony Advice, that's why I've written First Pony Advice. Go through that, read the book, look at the videos, start to get your own eye as to, you know, what you need to look out for when you're looking for a pony. Yeah, some other mistakes. Well, I'd say over mounting a child would be a problem. So buying a horse that's too advanced for the rider. Sometimes people go, oh, well, the child will grow into the horse. I think a child needs to feel fairly confident on that horse the first few rides, and if that horse is, you know, up on its toes and wanting to take off, or, you know, a little bit too goey, that is going to put fear in the child. And so for me personally, I always pick ponies that the children have got to kick along a bit. You know, they've got to ride them, they've got to use their leg and seat to get them going. Yes, it's a little bit annoying, they go, I can't do it, or this pony's lazy. Well, learn to ride, learn to use your body, and at least the pony's not going to take off on them, because a pony that gets going, gets a bit of speed and bolts on them, that's just so dangerous. And once a pony's gone, you know, no parent's going to keep up with it. So for me, I like a pony that's behind the leg a little bit, that the kids do have to use the crop and the whip to get going, and at least, you know, you can let them out in a big paddock and the pony's not going to take off. So yeah, just I guess looking at the education level of the pony, and that the pony's not too goey for the child at the time. The next thing that I do see a little bit of with, you know, the more novice people is buying an uneducated horse, or a green horse, or a young horse, a horse that's too young and doesn't have the miles and the education on it, and thinking that the child will grow with the pony. Look, this can happen. You can get a quiet young horse and they can grow up together, and that's the lovely little fairy tale, I guess, but it's really not, it's probably the exception more than the rule. So you'd be much better off getting a pony that knows the ropes, that's educated, that can teach the child. And whether it be a child or an adult, You know, I'd say buy a horse that's educated, and so you can learn the movements, learn how to do things, and then go on and, you know, train a young horse. But it's pretty hard green on green, you know, when a horse is green, a rider's green, and you put them together, it's not ideal. So certainly the old idea of buying the young horse and the child can educate it, you know, children can't really educate ponies unless they're under a coach, I guess, on a weekly basis, unless their parents are educated horse people. And it's, you know, pretty tough on the pony too when the child's giving mixed signals all the time and the pony gets unsure. And so when a pony gets unsure, one of two things is going to happen. It's going to get frightened and yeah, get a little bit unsettled and maybe do unpredictable things, or a little bit more confident pony is going to start taking over and get bossy and rude and, yeah, basically run the show, which is, again, is just as dangerous. So yeah, so I wouldn't ideally choose young uneducated horses for young uneducated riders. So yeah. Look, when it comes to age, I think that's a really individual thing on the horse. You know, I've seen horses that look old at 15 and I've seen horses that still look young at 25. So I think, you know, look at the horse as an individual. Has it had a hard life? Has it been, you know, beautifully cared for and looked after well? So I think, yeah, look at the horse, look at its joints. You know, does it look okay? Is it still moving out free? So as far as age goes, well, I've heard people go, oh, anything over 10 is too old. Well, you know, I'd have to say I disagree. I think a lot of good horses, junior horses, don't come into their own till after 15. So, and I mean, the reality is when you're buying a child a pony, they're going to grow out of it. So I guess if you get 3 years, they're going to probably need to go up in height anyway. Children get taller and ponies don't. So I think, yeah, you'd probably look at about a 3-year span for a pony. So if you were to buy one at 20 and it was sound and had good feet, good legs, and it'd still be fine at 23, possibly. So yeah, I think up in those age groups, it's still all right, but a lot of people won't look at ponies at that age. But as I said, if the Olympic horses can still be out there competing at 18 years old, then yeah, can't see why a little pony can't be. So yeah, it's better, you know, get a good vet check the horse's sound in the limbs and wind and feet. But yeah, good ponies generally had a bit of mileage, and that's what I like anyway. Yeah, pony that's educated, seen some stuff, and yeah, looks after the child, supports the child. You want a good pony to support a child.
Thank you for your interview today, Jennifer, and for giving us a small insight into life at the Pony Palace Stables.